I I was remembering back to a time in my childhood that I used to look forward to every Friday night. TGIF. If you don't remember TGIF, it was a series of shows that ran from 7 until 9, I believe, every Friday. Shows like Family Matters, Step by Step, other wholesome family shows like Full House. Well, consider this my pilot of our own little TGIF. And if you enjoy it, make sure that you leave a like on it and you leave a comment on it. You may be watching this a different day, but I thought, you know what? Why not schedule a program on Friday nights at 7 o'clock, just like I used to watch, for my viewers who are just chilling, need something to do on a Friday night, or want to come and watch it over the weekend to do. So welcome into the first and maybe last episode of TGIF. Today's story, we have the most entitled developer. Now, you've seen a lot of video game developers and video game journalists parrot this term of entitled gamers, the entitled gamer. It's this nebulous term, I believe, that is simply used to disparage customers that they don't agree with. It's a term that gets thrown around to disparage gamers in general. It's a term that is used to poo-poo legitimate criticism. Like, I understand that game development is a complex process and that you can't be everything to everyone, that you can't give everything to everyone. But by the same token, you cannot simply refer to all critics as entitled gamers. Let me introduce you to Ooblets, a game that announced its epic exclusivity yesterday in a blog post that can only be described as one of the most condescending, fart-sniffingest posts I've ever read. We're not going to read the entire thing because the developer has been having a complete meltdown in their Discord, and we're going to take a look at that as well. But let me just give you a sample of what this entitled developer had to say. Everyone kept talking about this Epic thing, so we thought we'd see what it was all about. Here's what these Epic folks are doing. Firstly, they teach every kid in the world these obnoxious dances, and now they're offering funding to game developers in exchange for PC exclusivity on their game store. This is exactly what Marx warned us about. Just imagine if other companies got it in their head to offer funding in exchange for exclusives. What'd be next? Game consoles? For games to be exclusive on their consoles? Netflix paying for exclusive shows? Newspapers paying for exclusive articles? It'd be some sort of late capitalist dystopia. Obviously oozing with sarcasm. The point here is that these exclusives already exist on other platforms, except video games are a different thing altogether. The expectation has never been to be able to consume your TV wherever you want. However, that has been the standard in PC gaming. You should be able to get it on Steam. You should be able to get it on any marketplace you want, GOG.com, whatever. I continue. Okay, goofing aside, we've signed with Epic for PC launch exclusivity, and it's incredible news for us, and I'm hoping you can all be excited about it. This is written by a person who just received a check for more money than they've ever had in their entire life, and I commend them for it. I am on record as saying, and I will be clear here on this Friday evening, or if you happen to be watching it on a different day, I do not have any problem at all with developers taking cash for exclusivity. Just say that's what it's about. Just say, look, we've been working on this game for 1,000,000 years. We've spent all this money. Epic came and gave us $3 million bucks. That was more than we were going to make no matter what. I know this is going to make some people mad. If you backed us on Kickstarter or if you've done this, we're happy to provide you refunds. We hope that you still enjoy our game. That's it. Just be honest about it. Don't write a 1,000-piece thesis trying to defend yourself. It's almost like you know you've done the community dirty. We asked Epic if we could talk frankly about the situation, and they were like, whatever. So here's a bit of insight. Epic is a company that makes the Unreal game engine and a bunch of popular games, including Fortnite. No, just Fortnite for the most part. EGS is a PC game distribution platform like Steam, Origin, Itch, or GOG. No, it's not like any of those things. Maybe in its categorization only. Epic paying for PC exclusives has become the latest thing that gamers TM have gotten angry about. And I'll talk more about that a bit further down. Nothing like disparaging the gaming community from a developer who just cashed a big check. For a developer that is receiving $3,000 a month on Patreon from gamers TM. Ooblets will be launching on PC through EGS. We won't be selling the game on any other PC stores for a pretty long time. That's the exclusivity bit. Sure. We got some cash up front from the deal so we can make the game we always wanted with fewer compromises. Baloney. Everybody always says this nebulous line. It's like Epic Game Store gives them a script and they're like, here's what you say. Now we get to do so much more. Although, from what I could tell, no developer has come out and said, here's what you were going to get before, but now that we got $3 million from Epic Game Store, here's what you're getting now. This is especially true in situations where we have games that are Kickstarted, like Shenmue 3. Why didn't you lay out what this Epic Game Store cash is giving us backers? All right. Epic didn't yet have the market share as the competitors. They offered us a minimum guarantee on sales that would match what we'd be wanting to earn if we were just selling Ooblets across all stores. Translation, we're going to guarantee you, let's say, $500,000, and we thought we were only going to make $500,000 anyway, so we took the money. That's a guarantee. That's not necessarily an upfront. Essentially, it's like a draw, if I'm reading this right. We're guaranteeing you $500,000 minimum, but you owe us that money until you reach that sales. We feel the same impatience about launching Ooblets as a lot of you are probably feeling. I feel like it's the game is taking forever because blah, blah, blah. Angry at Epic? Us? The world? By the way, games journalists love this blog post. They address the fact that EGS doesn't have as many features, and then they go back to use age-old debunking methodology like, well, Steam has been around for 15 years. Okay, yes, Steam has been around for 15 years, and it has all the features we want. The fact that it's been around for 15 years does not dismiss the fact that Epic doesn't have these features. Nice try. It's anti-consumer to be exclusives. This is the most common complaint about Epic, but I don't think people have really thought it through. I can understand the frustration of having to buy different consoles to play the games you want, but there's no extra cost of using EGS. Well, that's not necessarily true. There is a non-hard cost, a non-cash cost of having to install some Tencent app on my computer that's collecting who knows what data, and I don't want to do that. Now, I will say, and I will continue to say, I know some of you are out there at home, on your mobile, on your tablet, on your phone, in the bathroom, thinking, I don't really care. Most people don't. I understand that. But some people do. And that doesn't make them irrelevant. The store and launcher just required a free sign-up. It's not like having to pay for HBO, Netflix, and Hulu to watch all the shows you want. It's more like just having to press a button on your remote to change between free TV channels. No, that's not correct either. If you wanted to use that analogy, you should have said, it's like having to install Netflix or Hulu. It's not like changing the station. If I just had to change the station, that would be like, your analogy would make sense if we were talking about buying from Amazon.com or Target.com. This still involves the installation of software that, quite frankly, some people don't want to. It's also really disappointing to see the folks threatening to pirate the game just because they can't get in it on the launcher they're used to. Feeling like you're owed the product of some other people's work on your terms or else you'll steal it is the epitome of the word entitlement that people use to discuss immature, toxic gamers. Look, the fact that, you know, it's a Pirate Bay exclusive now is your own dang fault, to be totally honest with you. It's your own fault. You knew going in that this is how people react. Second of all, it's kind of a meme. It's like when I post this on Twitter, a lot of people will post little pirate flags underneath it. And look, the honest truth is, it's not as if people who weren't interested in your game before are now going to just pirate it. These are still people that probably would have been your customers. Now, there are some people that wanted your game and never intended on buying it, and your choice of using Epic Game Store isn't going to influence that at all. I don't think you understand internet culture. I don't think you understand the video game players that you're so willfully disparaging. I continue. I get the appeal of wanting to seek out things to be angry about, minimizing this, right? I don't care. Venting anger is cathartic and natural, but let's just have a little perspective about what we decide to get angry about. Look at things going on in the world and ask yourself if there just might be anything a tad more worthwhile to be upset about. Things like climate change, the last season of Game of Thrones, human rights. I would put video games in the same category as television or the new Twitter UI. None of them are important. Video games aren't important either. The fact that you think they are shows your own entitlement. The fact that you think customers, the ones that give you money, aren't entitled to an opinion, aren't entitled to some respect, tells a lot about you. The fact that you're projecting this gamers TM on people, while literally embodying, jeez, the toxic dev TM is hilarious to me. So let's remember that this is all low stakes video game stuff we're dealing with here. Nothing to get worked up about. Yeah. Except you're not 200% mad, TM, that you wrote this long blog post trying to head off any criticism. Yeah, you're totally not mad, TM. You totally don't think that incoming criticism. I and Ben will be around on our Discord server to ask any questions, though any concerns or confusion that you may still have. Okay. I'm glad you mentioned your Discord server. Here's a few great little screenshots of conversations in the Discord server. Yes, they are screenshots, but I've seen them tweeted. I've seen them archived. I've seen plenty of going around about them. I'm sure they're real. There's always that chance that maybe they're not, obviously, but you can verify this in their Discord server. Here's some questions. I mean, look at how these devs are responding. They clearly couldn't care less if you buy their game or support them on now that they have Epic Cash. Developer response. Zinc. Man, I wish I didn't have to take an Epic deal so we would have to take care of all the entitled toxic gamers think. We would have to care. Here's another one. I think there's a disconnect between how you intended the post to be received and how it actually came across. No, I think the toxic entitled gamers took it as directed at them. I feel like equating communicating business decisions from dev to customer and in-game character dialogue feels really weird, Lamau. The content of our game reflects us in the same way us not bending over backwards to baby gamers does. Here's another customer. Also, per your blog spot, you stated, quote, I don't expect much of our uniquely lovely community to fit into this weird anti-Epic contingent. Not trying to strawman here, but does this mean you pretty much think people who are against Epic Game Store practices should not be in this community? The developer responds, I think you definitely wouldn't like Ooblets in general. Goes on later to say, if anything, you guys make me want to rip into gamers more. Here's another one. I think when a lot of the kids here get older and have to get jobs, their idea of what's selling out will change. Coming from a man who's getting thousands of dollars a month on Patreon. I don't think you even have a job. Here's another interaction. Yeah, but you got to realize you aren't just talking directly to channers. Essentially, this developer has also taken that NPC position of saying, anybody who critiques me is somebody from the chants or a Redditor. None of these people could possibly be my customers. To which somebody replies, yeah, but you got to realize you aren't just talking directly to Chan. That's a post to everyone who was interested in this project. I get the pre-frustration, but like, come on, man. Killed my enthusiasm for the game to see a blog post be so condescending to all your fans. The developer responds. The frothing anger over literally a free game launcher you don't like is proof that the tone matched the target of that tone. And the target is not the intended audience of Ooblets, who is honestly above that stuff. Here's another one. Honestly, the biggest reason we didn't do a Kickstarter is we didn't want to deal with entitled baby gamers holding even more power over us. But you were fine taking their money on Patreon. And now let's look at the developer, the Game Urinalist World. Absolutely loving this article as it sticks it to gamers. Ugh, take that, gamers. Ooblets is Epic exclusive. Developer puts expected backlash in perspective. How about this one? Epic exclusivity deal covered Ooblets sales forecast across all stores. Today, Glumberland announced that its hotly anticipated indie game, Ooblets, will launch on Epic Game Store exclusive on PC. Anticipating the backlash, the studio pointed out that PC exclusiveness has become the latest thing gamers TM have gotten angry about. However, the exclusivity deal offered a minimum guarantee on sales that matched Glumberland's original forecasts. Well, I'm glad that everybody seems to agree with you. It's almost like these sites need ad revenue. It's almost like websites like GameDaily.biz needs Epic to advertise when they write things like this. In a delightfully irreverent blog post, Glumberland shows little patience for some of the rhetoric around Epic's push for timed exclusives. Sure. Again, I have no problem with you taking the money. I think you should take the money. But let's not pretend that it wasn't exclusively about the money. And let's just stop jarring our own farts and thinking we're better than everybody, because this blog post was written in your voice. The responses to the gaming community that you've had in your Discord, while some is mildly irritating, others is absolutely disgusting from somebody who's relied on the gaming community via Patreon to pay their bills for months or years. As somebody who still relies on the gaming community to buy their game, I can't believe anyone would talk like this to their customers. People often talk about entitled gamers, but I think as a customer, there's nothing wrong with having expectations. There's nothing wrong with being disappointed in what a video game has offered you. The price of things in a video game, you have that right. Now, the developer doesn't have to listen to you. But these people seem to not be aware that they are the ones acting entitled. They are the ones acting as if we owe them any respect, that we owe them anything. That we're supposed to just install Epic Game Store and shut up, buy our stuff. Well, it doesn't work that way. And while, sure, you got the cash up front so you don't have to worry about it, and now your true colors are shining through, I don't see it as a win. You might. Enjoy finding a new audience. Enjoy making anybody who is in the middle of the road less excited about your game. Enjoy trying to get any backing for any future releases, because people will always remember this blog post. The internet never forgets. Have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.